Hello, survivors. Welcome to Survival Jobs, a podcast in collaboration with BroadwayWorld and Broadway Podcast Network. I am your co-host, Jason A. Coombs. And guess who's back? Back again. Samantha Dawn Tinslow is here, my friends. Samantha, I missed you. I was
Whoa!
crying. I was scared. I was shooketh. I was like, I can't do this without my boo.
You did such a good job. I watched
Oh
the
my
whole
God.
video of the mic check and you totally killed it.
The 3-minute mic check.
By the way, you did such a good little poem just then. Congrats.
Oh, thank you.
Jason,
Lin-Manuel.
happy Lin-Manuel the second. Jason, happy season 2 finale.
It's finally, we've been in season 2 for like 2 years.
A year and a half. Oh.
I know. It's so weird that we're like, okay, this is our big finale and we're going to regroup for season 3. How wild is that?
Crazy. And it's also like, what episode number is this? 76? We've recorded 76 times, 76 social media posts, 76, not guests, because sometimes we did solo episodes or did a re-release, but that's still a lot of work. Congratulations. I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of us. This little pandemic dream we had is here and flourishing. And it's super, super exciting that we're here and our big finale. So excited for season 3. We have some really fun people that lined up that we've been talking to. And yeah, I'm happy to take a little break too, like to recharge. Because I'm tired.
What were some of your season 2 highlights?
My gosh, like we were like, we're gonna talk about season 2 highlights, and I was like, there's so many. I don't want to forget someone, but like the first 2 that come to mind are always Crystal, because she was our season 2 first guest.
Hi, Crystal.
Hello, guys. Hi, thanks for having me.
Welcome
Thanks.
to
Thanks for being here. Season 2.
the first episode of season 2 with Broadway World, and you are the most perfect guest for this. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. And I know we were just talking about this before we recorded, but I have to thank you because we manifested survival jobs taking a next step when we made vision boards together at your house. And here we all are. So it's so fitting that you are the first guest as we've partnered with Broadway World. So,
I love a full circle moment. So that makes me very happy. And because it's like, and also it's nice to see that our vision boards can manifest things. I'm looking at my vision board right now, and my vision board has some work to do. Okay.
Yeah.
She's coming along. Okay. But I did put a lot of things on there. So yes, I'm excited to be a part of this. And I'm excited to just, also talk about survival jobs because woof.
Woof.
That's how I feel.
Mm-hmm. Woof.
Our first guest that was like on video, right? Remember that? And is that not true?
I forgot that.
Okay.
No, that is true.
I was like,
I forgot that we never did video in season 1. I mean, we did video, but we didn't release the whole thing to the world. That's crazy. And also shout out to Crystal. Merrily We Roll Along is fully in previews. She's playing Gussie. She's our girl. She is a Survival Jobs podcast alumni, and she's amazing. So if you can get your hand on a ticket, which you guys, it's pretty hard, but run over and get a ticket.
Yeah. And Hunter Burke, I always think about Hunter especially because he was a juror for the Bridgeport Film Fest this year. So that was like a really cool full circle moment with Hunter and.
Hi, Hunter.
Hey guys.
Welcome to Survival Jobs. We do that every time, Jason.
I know you think after 20-something episodes we get it right. But.
We like get the groove, but that's okay. I guess that could be our shtick.
I love it. It's kind of a sneak attack. It's the gentle way in. It's nice.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, ease in.
Because he was talking about his time at Tribeca Film Festival, and I don't know, he's such a very kind and genuine person, and his show is back. I don't know if we can talk about shows, right, because of the strike, but the show that I love that he's on is back, and I've been trying to catch up. after the pandemic, or sorry, not after the pandemic, after the film fest and Pride and all this stuff I had going on this summer. So
There's
anyway,
been a lot going on. A lot going on at the
as
moment.
yeah, for real, for
So
real. And you're
if
going to Italy.
I'm going to Italy
Jealous.
tomorrow. I'm like, I don't even know what day it is, what time it is, where I am. I have so much going on. And then just to like pack up and go to Italy is going to be amazing. But one of my best friends is getting married. And
Oh
so it's going
wow.
to be really beautiful and really amazing. I'm here at another one of my best friends' homes right now. We're gearing up, getting ready to go to the airport. Shout out Johnny
Mm,
Vento, who was our literal tech director for this episode. He troubleshooted all of our issues. So shout
yeah.
out to him. I would like to answer the question about a season 2 highlight. May I please?
Yes, you may.
I think mine is when we hosted the Theater World Awards together. Like, I know that's not technically. No, it is. We released it as an episode.
Hello, hello, hello. My name is Samantha Dawn Tutzelo, and this is my amazing co-host, Jason A. Coombs, and we're here for Broadway World at the 77th Annual Theater World Awards.
At the Circle in the Square Theater, celebrating all these amazing Broadway debuts. We did release it as an episode, yeah.
You know, we
So it
like
counts.
manifested, it does count, and we've manifested being on the carpet together, doing interviews like that. And then it happened, and it was so beautiful. And we did such a great job together in navigating the
hmm
space and navigating who's chatting with who. And it was hot as heck. And it was
It
so
was
such
such
a
a
small space.
yeah. It
With
was such a small
Joey and
space,
the camera and us rotating out and just
and that's where we
chatting. And
met
so,
Tom.
oh my God.
Right? That
It
was our
is where
first
we met
time.
Tom,
Well, my first
which
time.
then transitioned us to do our first live talk back of Walking with Bubbles, which is another amazing season 2 highlight. So I
hmm
want to say, like, we've manifested so many things with this podcast past just recording the episodes that we love to record, and they've happened and they'll
hmm
continue to happen. And
Facts.
so those are my highlights, if I may answer.
I know there's so many of those. I hope no one's offended
Oh
because
yeah,
they are
people.
literally. I was like, there was like over 40 episodes. I was looking the other day. I was like, our first one was 20 something. And then we doubled that for season 2. And like you said, we did carpets and we did like talkbacks and everything that we manifesting. It's happening. So we're gonna manifest the Tonys again. It's gonna happen for season 3. We're gonna put that out there.
Sure is. It
And
sure is.
I couldn't have asked for a better podcast partner in you,
Don't make me cry. I'm
Samantha Dawn
emotional.
Tutzelo.
And throwing that right back at you, Jason A. Combs. I
Oh,
always say it, but I love working with you. And I can barely juggle this with everything else in my life. And you're just running film festivals and doing a million other things. So you're Superman.
thank you. You're
You're
super human.
Superman. Thank you.
Love that.
Jason, I'm so excited about today's episode. I feel like you and I talked about this episode 4 months. Not
Literally.
4 months, but 4 months.
FOR 4 months. Yeah, we were trying to,
FOR months.
but we have 4 guests and trying to coordinate 4 guests 4 months. It took a very long time to knock
4
them or
guests.
lock them in. Yeah. So
you guys, we're interviewing today the 4 teens, as we keep calling them, from one of our favorite musicals, Tony Award winning Best Musical, Kimberly Akimbo.
yeah, that show is really special, like really special. And I'm so grateful that theater like that is out there. Like that was just a great reminder of like why I do this, right? Why I want to be an actor and a storyteller. Like when you see a show like that, it just makes your heart just like burst with good vibes and like it makes me want to like do it. I'm like, this is why when I see a show like that. So thank you to all the creators of that show and the wonderful cast. And yeah, you go, because I'm just overwhelmed with gratitude for seeing that. It was such a beautiful experience.
I mean, the first time I saw Kimmy was
Mhm.
downtown when it was off Broadway, and I was crying so hard. I was sobbing. I was laughing so hard. I was sobbing. It's just
Yeah.
such a, exactly how you said it, special show.
Mhm.
And so to chat with these 4 amazing actors was so much fun. And by the way, like, the first time we've had more than 2 guests in this setting, right? Like
Yeah,
we've done
yeah.
the carpets and other sort of outlets of interviews. So it was challenging, I think, for us to navigate how this interview is going to flow, how we're going to make
Mhm,
sure everyone was going to like have a chance to answer a question and speak and have their moment
mhm.
without it being 4 hours long. And so I think it came out great. I'm so excited for
Yeah.
everyone to hear.
It's hard on I feel like it's easier in person, right? Because you can, like, feel the energy and you're, like, not in, like, the boxes, and it's kinda hard to be like, "Okay, your turn," and then, like, the pauses. So I feel like it's not as challenging when it's in person to moderate or to have a discussion with 4 people. But on a Zoom, it was very challenging to be like, "Okay, who's next? How do we, like, pivot to the next person?" And then like me and you also, because like, they would say something and then we would want to respond to that, right? So it's like, how do we also navigate that? But I had such a good time. They're such
Great
amazing
time.
people. They're so
Amazing.
funny and they're so unbelievably talented, but then just like really genuine, funny, uh beautiful people to talk to. I had such a great
Totally.
time talking to them as well.
And
That's
also,
the word.
everyone, run over to the Booth Theater and see this show because it is not one to be missed. You do not
You
want to
have
miss it.
like if you're a lover of theater, you have to see the show. I mean, there's like I've been telling everybody, I've been raving about it. I'm like, I know when the one the Tony, but like y'all cannot sleep on this show. You have to go see it. It was such a remarkable experience. One of my favorite theatrical experiences of like all time. Like seriously, it was like
Same.
right up there. And I've only seen it once, so I hope I get to see it again.
You
But
will. I'll go
I,
with you for my 6th time.
oh my gosh. All right, so should we do some bios?
Yeah, let's intro these guests. Who's going first?
You can go first because you're gone, Samantha. What happened to
What
you?
do you mean?
You turned into a black box.
No, hold on.
Oh, because you're on an
Hold
iPad.
on.
It's okay. No worries. We'll make it work. Season 2, final episode. I think it's gonna happen because you're on the iPad this week. So we'll just put a picture of you there or something. I don't know. We'll make it fun.
Amazing. I'm going to read Cornell's bio and I'm going to turn into a black box, but you guys, I'll be back. Okay, everyone. Guest number 1 of today's episode, Cornell Hogan, who plays Martin in Kimberly Akimbo. Some of his past credits include The Prom on Broadway, Mean Girls National Tour, For You Page, a TikTok musical. Cornell is overjoyed to return to Kimberly Akimbo after an exciting run at the Atlantic Theater Company.
Cool. I'm gonna
I'm
do
back.
Olivia. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna do Olivia next. Olivia Elise Hardy plays Delia. Prior to the off-Broadway production of Kimberly Akimbo, Olivia toured with the first national tour of Summer, the Donna Summer musical, as Duckling Donna. Kimberly Akimbo is Olivia's second professional show and her Broadway debut. Originally from Southern New Jersey, Olivia attended the University of Michigan to earn her BFA in musical theater.
Lit. I'm leaving again. I'll be right back.
For those who
Next
can't
guest.
see the video,
Oh, yes.
yes.
For the people who are just listening. Nina White is thrilled to be making her Broadway debut in Kimberly Akimbo after she originated the role off Broadway. Nina is a University of Michigan graduate. Be sure to check out her upcoming film, A Different Man, A24. Nina wants to thank her family and dearest loved ones. This performance in Kimberly Akimbo is for them.
Cool. And last but not least, my friend that I met at BroadwayCon before, he's the one person I kind of knew before this, was Michael.
Literally. That's
Literally,
how
yeah.
far it went back, this idea for this episode. BroadwayCon last year.
Last year, yeah, 2022 BroadwayCon. That's so funny. But Michael is an Egyptian-born actor. He won the Spirit of the Macy Award for Best Actor in 2019. He also won a Special Recognition Scholarship at the Jimmy Awards in 2019. He is hilarious, y'all. Just wait till you hear how he started acting and why he started acting. I don't think I laughed that hard in such a long time because I had to put myself on mute. Like I was crying. These guys, I feel like they're not all teens. These folks are just so wonderful. I want to be their bestie.
I think we are. Maybe after that interview we are.
I hope so, because they're great. They're such kind and beautiful and wonderful people. So I think you're all going to enjoy this. The survival job stories are wild. Like, just wait till y'all hear.
Yeah, some of the craziest we've ever had on this show. So buckle up.
I think they all had wild ones. It's great. It's great. This is a great one. Happy season finale, Samantha, Dawn,
Happy
Totolo.
season 2 finale, Jason Ackles. I love you.
I love you. And we'll see everybody in season 3.
Thanks everyone for listening and supporting. We love you.
Hello. Welcome everybody to Survival Jobs, a podcast. I wanted to start by asking you all to introduce yourselves because we have a whole big panel today. Can we start with Fernell? We'll just work our way kind of down and around the boxes.
Cool. Hello, my name is Fernell Hogan, and I play Martin in Kimberly Akimbo.
Hi, I'm Nina White, and I play Teresa in Kimberly Akimbo.
Hello, I'm Michael Iskander. I play Aaron Puckett.
Hi, I'm Olivia Elise Hardy, and I play Delia McDaniels.
Yes, this is Survival Jobs history right here. 4 people, 4 guests in the boxes. I'm so pumped, like Samantha. Thank you all for being here.
4 guests in the boxes and 6 on the screen. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. I'm so excited. So thank you guys. I feel like we've been like, thank you. We're so excited for this episode, but like we are. Jason and I are both huge Kimberly Akimbo fans, fanograms, whatever you want to call them. So we have a lot of Kimberly Akimbo to talk about, obviously, but this show is called Survival Jobs. So we're chatting with people about jobs that they've had that maybe aren't necessarily in the arts, or maybe they are. So I know you guys are like so successful, so young, so maybe you have none, but let's see. Nina, let's start with you. Do you have a survival job that has been maybe like one that you loved, that was lit?
Yeah, so I have worked as a nanny. Oh my God, I'm sorry. There's also like the craziest sound coming from outside my window right now. So if there's like construction sounds, so if you hear them, I'm so sorry.
New York City, baby.
Truly. I don't know what. There's a lot of action, but anyway, my survival job has always been babysitting or nannying, which, I actually really enjoy in many ways. I take it very seriously. During the pandemic, I was babysitting for this family, and it was just a hard time to be a kid because of online schooling, all that stuff, blah, 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 blah. And I actually started listening to parenting podcasts at that time to figure out how to be a better nanny. Anyway, I don't know. That's irrelevant. But all this is to say that I've been a nanny. Hire me. If Kimberly Akimbo closes, I'm ready.
Are you like the new Mary Poppins? Like, you sound like the best nanny ever. Listening to tips on podcasts? Like,
literally.
I do think that I'm a great nanny. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm from a really, really big family. I'm like one of 6 kids, and so I have been around kids. They've been helping take care of like my younger siblings from the time I was so small. So I briefly was a waitress in high school, like very briefly, like for a couple days. I was never scheduled again. So
for a couple days.
Yeah.
And then you were never scheduled again. Fun.
Right. I think it was an indirect firing.
We love that. It is not for everyone. Fernell, how about you? A fun survival job that you liked?
A fun survival job that I liked is a heart. No, I'm just kidding.
The other side, don't worry.
I've had a few like between show survival jobs. I think the most consistent one is I work for a dance competition called Revolution, and I'm a backstage manager, and we travel on weekends, and then we set up in your city and we do a whole dance competition, and I'm the one backstage that's like, hey, you have 5 numbers until you're on stage. It's very Dance Moms.
That sounds fun.
So that's one. And the other one, which I probably won't do ever again, I worked in the tech section of Century 21 down on Wall Street, the like
It's
huge department store.
Yes.
Probably won't be doing that again. I don't see that in my future, but that was one of my survival jobs.
Retail is tough.
Tough.
Are you not going to mention that you were a literal public school teacher?
I was also a school teacher during the pandemic. I've had a lot of jobs in life. Okay, I was a literal pre-K to 5th grade theater teacher back in Texas during the pandemic.
That's fun. So you were
That's
still like
iconic.
dipping in theater.
Yeah, still dipping in theater, and at that same time, I like randomly, I don't know how this happened, but like one boy in Texas wanted dance lessons, so I was like, cool, I'll come and we can dance in your driveway because pandemic. And then he was like, oh, I told 2 of my friends, can they come? And then it ended up being like 10 to 12 boys in the driveway during the pandemic. So I was like school teacher during the day, and I had like Hogan's School of Dance for Boys after.
That's iconic.
So
Literally iconic.
In the driveway, just dancing.
In the driveway, we would do like jazz or like hip hop for an hour, and then they want to tap, so we all got tap boards. Like we made our own tap boards, and we would sit out there and tap for another hour. It was honestly great, and a lot of them have come to see Kimmy, which is so cool.
Those are honestly like amazing survival jobs.
Yeah,
I know.
Olivia,
Hey, Pernell, are you a writer? Wait, can I just interrupt really fast? Are you
Yeah.
a writer? Because I see like a story here, like a coming of age story about
Ooh.
12 dancing boys in a driveway.
Honestly, that would be a good musical. Now that you say it out loud.
12 Dancing
Yes.
Boys is a good title. I directed a
Yes.
children's theater production of 12 Dancing Princesses, and that just made me think of it. So this can be the spinoff, 12 Dancing Boys.
12 Dancing Boys.
I don't know. Olivia, how about you? Any survival jobs that were like not terrible?
I did a bunch of survival jobs. I've done a bunch of different things to try and get through and make money and not have to like rely on my parents. Mostly I bartended and I waitressed for a really long time, especially during the pandemic. I worked at various different restaurants. Like I did like the whole like corporate chain. I worked at Red Lobster. I worked at one of those like just mom and pop independently owned like pizza shops in Philadelphia. I worked in one of the like higher end like French style kitchens that was a lot more intimidating and definitely a lot harder because that was like really throwing myself into an industry that I had never been in before, and the food industry is a whole different ballgame. But I did enjoy that job a lot because one, it was a rooftop bar, so it was like beautiful to work at. So I always got really nice views down in South Philly, and also I got to eat some of the most amazing food that I had never like imagined would taste good, and 2, ingredients that I had never heard of before. Like I had never heard of a fennel before. I did not know what that was. I didn't know that it was a vegetable. I didn't know it came from the ground. I didn't know what it was. So I got to eat a bunch of new things and try a bunch of new wines and dishes that were really, really cool. And I would say that was probably one of my favorite survival jobs just because I got to like be a part of another career industry, like full frontal, that I had never been a part of before. And then I was like Nina, I babysat for a while. I babysat for my my old high school counselor and his 2 children because both him and his wife were teachers. So that was really cool. That was really fulfilling also to like, because I was with them for a good 2 years. So I got to at least see their kids grow up from 1 to 2 and 4 to 5. So that was really nice. And I got to become really close with their family. So I still like every now and then I'll still like chat with them and see how they're doing. They just started school. Yeah. So
cool today. That's so nice. Also, Red Lobster, those biscuits are so good.
I can tell you so many stories about Red Lobster that would make you not want to eat there anymore. Okay. But because this is a corporate podcast, I'm not going to do that. But
offline.
Off the record, but just keep that in mind if you guys ever feel a little hungry. That might not be the place y'all want to go.
What?
there are some things that like the one in Times Square, that one obviously has to be really well managed. But the
Okay.
one that I was at, there was a good. I don't know. You could put this on. I don't really care. The one in Deptford, South Jersey, nobody gives a fuck about it. Their management was terrible. They did not do their inventory very well for a good month. So for 2 weeks, we were feeding without telling anybody and still fully charging them full price. We were feeding them imitation crab meat because we didn't have enough. It was
No.
terrible. It was a bad
Did
job.
anybody ever like say, "Hey, this does not taste correct"?
Nobody ever did, which I mean, like, maybe that's a testament to our kitchen. At one point, I think we did get the location did get fined pretty heavily because, well, I was like cleaning the lobster tank and I like sliced my finger on one of the like whatever, and I went to the back to get a band-aid, and the first aid kit was completely empty from top to bottom and had been for God knows how long. And they just gave me like a paper towel and some masking tape, and I was like, "Y'all, I should report you."
That
So, you know, do with
Yeah.
the information what you may. This was one location. I totally, you know, I believe in the other locations, but just so you know,
listen, that's honest, and maybe it will help one of our listeners to not go there.
maybe listen,
maybe
watch
you
out.
should
The
know what-
biscuits, I will say, the biscuits are true. They are real. They are true, and they are
so good.
those are like the safest thing.
Well, that's the only thing I love the most. So perfect. Okay, last but not least, Michael, tell us.
Hi, that was funny. I love that. Okay, I worked in clinical research. That was like my only other job, and I was a study
That's
coordinator.
fancy.
I mean, it sounds fancier than it is, really. But like, we worked on a bunch of different studies. Like, basically, before any pharmaceutical company releases medication, they have to go through clinical trials. And so I worked in one of those sites, and like I worked with Alzheimer's patients, kidney disease patients, heartburn patients. I was in the room for a lot of the endoscopies that they would do, and I would help the doctors get the samples, and I processed the blood, I'd send it, and it was actually really fun, but it was just a lot, you know. But it was, yeah.
Michael, you're like a doctor. What is this?
I was gonna be a doctor before theater, and then theater was like, "Hey, come over here."
And then you're just casually on Broadway. No big deal. Was going to be a doctor, but like now on Broadway.
No, bro, yeah.
Oh my God, those
Okay.
were so good.
I know, right? Let's flip it and reverse it. Let's talk about the worst survival job stories. And I was gonna start with Michael, but you said you only had one job, which was basically a doctor. So,
Yeah.
like, was there a downside to that job? I guess.
There was,
Let me add you to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I'm very like nervous about blood. Like, if it's in a tube, it's fine. But if it goes anywhere else, like I faint. So I remember one time I walked in the room after a blood draw, and it was a very messy blood draw. I think it was a phlebotomist trainee. And I walk in and there's blood on the floor, and I was supposed to clean it up, and that was not a good time. I put on my gloves and my mask, and I was like, all right, let's do this. But yeah, I think that was the worst it ever was.
That sounds like it's
Yikes.
from Grey's Anatomy. Like I could see it.
It looked like a scene, a pretty dangerous scene.
Dang.
But it was cleaned up. I cleaned it up very well. And the patient was fine. He's like, no, it's okay. I got bad veins. It's fine. I was like, all right, cool.
Bad veins.
I didn't draw the blood, by the way, for the viewers.
Thank you for the clarity.
Yes, there we go.
Oh my gosh. How about you, Pernell? Do you have a worst survival job story?
Worst survival job story. I think retail at Century 21. It was pretty. It's just tough. They call it the
Retail,
busiest
yeah.
store in America because for some reason everybody who comes to New York is like, I have to go to Century 21. Like, who knew that was a spot? So just being there, like.
When I moved to New York, I thought it was like a real like a realtor place, like to buy a house. I didn't know it was like
Well, that Century 21 is also a real estate company.
Yeah.
But this one's the department store. But yeah, I think it's, you're just dealing with an array of people. And then when my attitude reaches its like pinnacle, now we're fighting. Which, like, on my last day, my very last day, I remember this guy, he like opened something and I went to him and I was like, "Ooh, please don't open the products." And he was like, just like messing with it still, like open. I was like, "Oh, can you put it away?" And he was like, "Don't you see I'm about to buy it?" And I was like, "Well, you can't open it until you buy it." And he said, "Go get a manager." And I said, "Go find him yourself." And then I promptly quit.
Oh, good. I was like, were you fired immediately?
No, because like I'm also like a good employee, so no one really cared.
Yeah.
Like they know I'm not gonna just like yell at someone for fun. So
I believe that location is closed. I could be wrong.
but it's
It is, right?
reopening.
It's
Yeah.
reopening. I believe another guest on the show worked there as well. Jason, maybe I'm dreaming that, but that's, I think, why I know it closed.
Whoa.
Can't tell you
Don't
who or
remember.
what, but I believe you might be the second one.
Century 21 to Broadway. It's the new Michigan.
Hey.
The pipeline is
Oh my
real.
gosh. How about you, Nina?
I mean, nannying, it's always a mixed bag. It's always a mixed bag. But I had a lot of wonderful experiences. Don't get it twisted. But, and like any of the families that I worked for, like I worked for this one family in Brooklyn for like, in a long-term way, like since I moved here. Anytime I haven't been doing Kimberly Akimbo, I've mostly been working for them, like full-time, and I love them. They're lovely. They just moved to California, though. Miss you guys. But I also did a lot of, like, last spring, I did a lot of, like, more like one-off babysitting and stuff like that, or like filling in for friends, whatever. And there was, it always, I mean, nannying is a crazy job because you're really like up in people's personal business and lives in a way that is really crazy. You're like, I'm in your house. I'm seeing what you're ordering on Amazon. I'm seeing what's in your refrigerator. I might be a part of your marital conflicts. It's true. Like, it's really wild. The wealthiest people that I nannied for were always kind of the kookiest. And there was this one time when I was for this family for the first time ever, and they lived in this penthouse, and they like to pay in cash anyway. And then like the rate was like $25 an hour, and then I had watched their kid like 4.5 hours or something, and so they wanted to pay me like for the half hour and not like the full hour for the last whatever. And I was like, great. And then he's like pulling out his cash to pay me, and he had like he had like $15, but he didn't have like change, $12.50. So he's like pulling out a 10, pulling out a 5, and I'm like watching him kind of like rifle around in his stuff, and I'm like, this man is literally looking for $250 right now.
That's insane.
And, like,
He has like millions of dollars probably.
correct. And it was so awkward because he's like, oh gosh. And he's kind of like making it evident. I'm like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not like, I don't know. And then he was like, I'm so sorry. Like, do you have change? And I was like, no, because I didn't. I was like, no, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And he's like, okay. No, it's okay. And he was like super worked up about it. And he was like, the thing is like, I only have a 10 and a 5 to give you the half for the half an hour. Like, you don't have change like for $250. And I was like, no, I don't. And he was like, okay, well, that's okay. You know what? You can just bring me the change the next time you babysit.
I'm dead.
That's shocking. It's more shocking than the Red Lobster.
Did you bring the change?
No, I did not bring the change. I just was like, this is insane. Like, it's crazy. You are on the Upper East Side. We are by the Met. What are you doing?
Like, what does he want with the $250? You cannot even buy a coffee in this town for $250. You cannot.
Correct. I don't know. But it was always the people that, like, not always, actually. Not always, but a lot of the time. People who, like, I don't know. The other time I like nannied for this family that was also like in this Tribeca penthouse for this dad and his daughter, and like I don't know, whatever. At the end of the day, I only babysat for them one single day. At the end of the day, also he didn't ask me like any personal questions about myself, and I was about to be babysitting his kid, and I was like, you're not like, I don't know. I was like, wouldn't you be a little more curious? about me. I guess
Yeah,
not.
who's in charge of your
Right. And it was through a babysitting company. So like I was vetted in that way. Like I know that. But it just was like the lack of any interest in me other than like what my name was felt very much like it was giving servant. But it was. You know what I mean? It was like okay, got this girl coming over. And at the end of the day, I watched his daughter for like 8 hours while he worked from home. At the end of the day, he was like, oh, so like you like, you know, are you in school or you like babysit like full time? And I was like, yeah, well, like I'm an actor and I'm, you know, and this was right before Kimmy was about to start the Broadway rehearsal process. I was like, I'm gonna, you know, be actually not really available because I'm about to start doing the show on Broadway. And then he was like, oh, well, hope you don't get too busy to babysit for us.
You're like, I'm about to be on Broadway. I just told you I'm about to be on Broadway. I'm busy. That's so funny.
Yikes.
Okay.
Wow. Well, and last but not least, Olivia is Red Lobster with the no band-aids and the old imitation crab meat the worst you've had? Or is there something worse than that?
Well, Red Lobster was kind of back when that was more like a high school job. I guess the biggest thing was, I'll tell you the story of how I quit / got fired. There was this one, well, I didn't get fired, I quit. There was this one lady that used to frequent the restaurant quite a lot, and she would get really drunk and she would just make out with random people like on the street. This is not some like, you know, woo-woo 20-year-old college girl. This is like a 40-year-old established woman who would just like come and get drunk and like make out with people in the middle of the street. At one point, our boss, and this is where the family issues started, like his wife unfortunately had like early onset dementia and wasn't remembering him or anybody's names, and so he started going on this like bender of getting drunk at work and like, you know, talking to random women. So it was really wild. So he hired this woman to be like our new front of house manager. And all of us were like, why would you hire this woman? She's obnoxious. She gets drunk. She like makes out with random people. She like at one point sexually assaulted one of our bartenders and made him very, very uncomfortable. And he was just kind of like, shut up, I hired her. He's here. And so one day I was at work and I didn't actually know that she had started work yet. Nobody had told me or anything. So I was at work. I was behind the register and our air conditioning had broken. So it was a good 98 degrees inside consistently. And so I was behind the cash register. It was a slow day. And I was just drinking water from my water bottle, which I do every day that I had been working there for at least over a year. She comes over to me and immediately yells at me to stop drinking behind the bar. And I was like, first of all, who are you? Second of all, it's 98 degrees. I'm drinking water. You're not going to stop me from drinking water. I've been doing this for a really long time. Exactly who are you? And then she started throwing a fit. And then she told me to go home. And then I told her that I wasn't going to do that because I was scheduled to work until close. And then the back of house manager kind of got involved. And so at one point I just called her in the back and I said, let's like get on the same page here because you came at me barking crazy and I don't even know who you are. And so she came back and she was like, your boss told me that you have a problem with authority and that you're a troublemaker. And I was like, I know that's not true, but I do remember that you were the person who grabbed our server by his crotch. And she got really red in the face and she was like, that was one time. And then she ran away. And I was like, oh, girl, you lost me there. So I did have to go home, but my back of house manager was like, I'll clock you out so that you still get paid. So I was like, that's the magic words. I'm gone. So I left. I came back the next day to basically quit because Kimmy was starting up in 2 weeks. But she pulled me in the back and she said, there's going to be a bunch of changes around here. And I was like, well, have fun with those changes. I'm out of here. And then I found out about a month later that she had gotten fired and is currently getting sued because lo and behold, she was some sort of MMA fighter. And she got drunk on the job and beat up one of her regular customers and like assaulted him and like threw him to the ground. And now she's being sued because MMA fighters like have to, I think, legally register their hands as weapons. And so she's like actually getting sued for like attempted like manslaughter or something like that. So
whoa. You guys, the level of survival job stories you just gave is just like an iconic episode. Thank you.
There's a lot that went crazy at that restaurant. But that was probably the wildest story, I would say.
I cannot believe she said about the crotch. That was one time. It's like, oh, okay.
Oh, we did have this one customer. He was cool. He used to be a kingpin in New York during the 70s, but he would tell me stories all the time of how he'd go and party with Eartha Kitt at Club 54 Club 54. And so I always loved hearing his stories because he'd be like, at this day at Club 54, I was here with this celebrity and this celebrity. And I was like, slay. He was great.
You guys, from blood to babysitting to crotches to Century 21, this was an iconic Survival Jobs moment. Thank you guys for the stories and for sharing.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Let's jump into Kimmy, though, what everyone really wants to know. So my first question about this is like, I imagine you guys all grew up like loving theater and musical theater, right? Like this is how you got into it. So when you booked this and found out that you're literally sharing the stage with Broadway icon Victoria Clark, like what did that feel like? How did you prep for it to like be there and do your job and not be like, how am I on stage with Vicki Clark? Big deal. Nina, do you want to kick it off?
Yeah, I was so gagged. I did not know who, I don't know if you all did, but I did not know who was in the off-Broadway production until they like publicly announced it. Did anyone know before?
I just knew that you were in it.
Yeah, I knew that you were in it, but yeah, like wise. But I didn't know. And so like I was awaiting the press release with the public. I was like, when are they gonna announce it? And then when they did, I was so shook. And I texted all my friends. I mean, my friend Joe, who is a Vicki Clark stan in college, he used to love to like when we would like get lit, everyone would love to like play musical theater videos on YouTube, obviously. And he would always play Vicki, of course. And so I texted him first, I think, honestly. And I was like, you'll never believe. So yeah, I don't know. I am a fangirl of Vicki. She knows.
She knows. I'm shook. Fernell, how about you? What was that like?
I was not super into musical theater growing up, so I'm learning as I'm going. But what I was into was Shrek on Netflix when I was in high school, and I was like obsessed with Shrek. So when I like saw this music, I saw David Lindsay-Abaire, Janine Tesori, and my brain was like, you've seen those names together, but I couldn't remember where. And then I like started shuffling through music. I was like, oh my God, it's Shrek. So that was more my thing, was like, I was fangirling over the creators of Shrek, the musical. And now I fangirl over Victoria Clark because like, she's phenomenal. Yeah. But Janine and David, they were the ones for me.
I mean, they're also iconic, phenom. Those are good ones. Michael, how about you?
I'm pretty much the same as for now. I didn't like theater growing up, but like they forced us to watch Shrek on Netflix in my 8th grade class. And I was like, oh, this is not bad. This is pretty good. But I still didn't look up anybody's names because I'm, not a great student.
You were just like, I'm just booked and blessed. And also not they forced us to watch Shrek.
It was piano class. I don't know why we were watching Shrek, but I think it was like a rainy day. I don't know. But
on a rainy day we watch Shrek. Maybe that's what we'll call it.
California. When it rains, it's a different world.
Yeah.
But yeah, we watched it and I was like, oh, this is really great. But I didn't like anything else really. And then in like high school, I like accidentally joined like all the theater stuff. And like somebody gave me $10 to join and I didn't even know I was auditioning. It was like all a trick.
Okay, Troy Bolton.
Michael, you're killing me. They forced us to watch Shrek. I accidentally got into the theater, and now
was it Michael? Was it Mr. Schuster from Glee? Like who tricked you to audition?
I felt like it sometimes. I'm not gonna and then like I was like auditioning for 2 years, like after I graduated, or like a year after I graduated, and I got like this was the first audition I went on, and I saw like all the names that were working on it, but I had no idea who it was because I didn't do my research. I was not a responsible actor. And then like after a year of like auditioning and like, hey, send this tape, send that tape, they're like, all right, we want you in the room. And I went in the room and I see everybody's face and I'm like, oh, look at these people just starting out, you know, good for them. And then I leave and I look up everyone's name and I'm like, oh, how I was mistaken.
It's kind of better that way though, because then the pressure's off and you're just like having fun and doing your thing and you're not stressed.
Yeah, I mean, ignorance is bliss indeed.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I got the job, but now I'm here.
Well, you're great. That's how. I'm just dead at. I just got into theater because someone gave me $10 by accident.
$10.
$10.
$10.
$10 goes a long way when you're in high school. You know what I'm saying?
It does. It's
Yeah.
inflation. You know, that was a big deal.
$10 audition for the musical. I'm
That's what it
dying.
was. That's what it was.
Olivia, how about you? What did you feel when you booked this?
I was going through a bunch of crazy emotions. It was like in the middle of the pandemic. I had just finished the Donna Summer tour. I didn't have the best experience on that tour, so I was a little kind of hesitant about what I wanted to do exactly. If I wanted to stay in the theater, if I wanted to suddenly be in the food business. But when I got the audition, I saw, Janine and David Lindsay Abaire, and I said, heck yeah, I want to do that. And then when I got the part, it was interesting because I was still so nervous about doing theater again after having a not great experience of doing theater again. So I was really scared when I got the call saying that I got the part. I was like, okay. And then she was like, also your friend Nina got the part. And I was like, okay. And I was like, that makes everything a little bit better. I was like, I can go in this being a little bit more confident and knowing that I'm not going to freak out because I at least have a friend.
Yeah.
Because usually, when you see big names like that, of course it's exciting, but it's also terrifying because it's like, oh my God, I'm being in a room with a name as big as Victoria Clark. Any name that is that big, especially if you've never met them, you don't know what they're going to be like. It's a little intimidating. You don't know if they're going to be a diva. You don't know if they're going to be humble. You don't know. You just know that is a name that you have seen a million other times, and that in itself is very intimidating. So yeah, I think my reaction was very, I don't want to say unconventional, but my reaction was very it was definitely more of a terrified response than I would say excited. But I think that was just me being in my brain and having a bunch of other things, surrounding what was going on in my life at that time. But, once I saw Nina's name, once I saw Fernell's name, I didn't know Fernell, but I knew Fernell just kind of because I knew that he was in the prom and we had a bunch of mutual followers. So I was like, okay, this seems like a team that I at least can have a good time in with some good people, and that will be the thing that will carry me through. And then lo and behold, it just became all around a great experience. So I'm very glad that I took that leap of faith because I was very scared at first.
I love that all of your answers were so different. And then, you guys came together and created this literal magic piece of theater. Magic.
It literally is magic. I saw the show a couple of weeks ago, actually. I was very late to the party, and I think I was crying throughout 3/4 of the show, literally, because it was just so beautiful and so genuine and so inspiring. And you all have such great, beautiful chemistry together. So I guess my question is, this might be a stupid question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway.
There are no stupid questions.
Oh, thank you. See, just like she's the best co-host. But why do you think audiences are flocking to this show? It's huge. I'll start with Michael this time.
I mean, I think people love this show just because they relate to it so much. I feel like it with anything, you just want to be able to see yourself up on stage, and I think it's a testament to Victoria Clark and how amazing she is, how everybody can just see themselves in her. And she's such a genuine person and a kind person off stage, and when she goes on stage, you can't help but see the light that she radiates. And part of that is just the amazing. She's our lead, and she's an amazing leader, and she leads us as a cast, and that shows up in us too. You know, like we absorb the light that she sends out, and then we also radiate that. And that combined with a beautiful story, I think it's like the perfect storm.
Literally, yeah.
And people just keep coming back. We've had people come see the show 17 times.
17.
I don't know how, but like they do it.
I'm on 5. I'm on 5. Thank you.
5, you know, but no, and I'm really glad that it does resonate with this many people.
Yeah. If my wallet was a little bit bigger, I think I'd be on 17 as well.
Indeed.
Yeah. How about you, Olivia? Why do you think it's resonating with so many people, critics and audiences?
Yeah, I think honestly it's because I was talking to one of our PAs about this a while ago, that like everybody in the room during the rehearsal process, both off Broadway and for Broadway, kind of got asked about what they thought. Like even like down to like, you know, our PAs that were just online readings, like everybody got asked a little bit about like, hey, what do you think about this? Not just about, you know, their own expertise either, like not just, you know, David Zinn being like, oh yeah, I like this set piece. Him also being like, I feel like this part of the scene could be stronger in this part of the scene. Like I like that everybody was asked what they thought from all aspects, no matter what they happened to be working on specifically of the show. And I think that kind of everyone, you know, being asked their own personal opinion about the story, about what's going on, really helped create this, you know, universal kind of thing that you can relate to. And I think that it stemmed from the fact that it was such a collaborative effort from top to bottom. And I think that people can feel that. I also think that I sometimes forget like how tragic the show kind of can be. And I was telling this to Nina the other day. I was like, we'll be backstage like dancing, goofing off where people are in the audience just sobbing, trying to get their lives together. And I forget sometimes that the subject material can get that heavy. Like I had a friend who brought a friend who has a child with like a terminal illness, and apparently she like had to run out of the show early because she loved it, but she, you know, it was a little too much for her at a point. And I came out being like, you know, coming out from backstage with our little sparkly things on, like, hey, what's going on? And she was like sobbing in the background. I'm like, oh, I forget sometimes that there are a lot of things about the show that are just so incredibly relatable. And I mean, even as somebody who, you know, grew up as a theater kid in New Jersey, I'm playing a theater kid in New Jersey. It's like I've been preparing for this role my whole life and I didn't even know. So it's funny in that sense because it's just that real. It's just that human. Like, you know, it makes it seem like breaking out in song in the middle of your living room is totally normal, because in a way it is. You can break out in the middle of song in your living room, and that's what happens.
Facts.
A very homely show, I guess, is a good word for it.
For now, what about you? You have anything to add?
Yeah, I just think it's a well-written, well-crafted piece of theater that like every inch of it has intention, which is just another testament to like David and Janine. When we transferred from off-Broadway to Broadway, they sent us the new script and they sent an annotated version that was like, we changed this one word and this is why. And it's like that for the whole script. And just like seeing that, you're like, wow, they really put thought into every single word that's in the show. And it's just crafted in a way that I think everyone can pull something from it. You have your flawed parents. We all have an Aunt Deborah of sorts.
We do.
Sure do.
Yours may not steal mailboxes, but like you have an Aunt Deborah. And then the message, Kim's message, it's such a relatable message and it's given in such a like different way. Like at the end of the day, it's about seizing the day and doing what you want. And you could easily just say that, but it's delivered in such a way that it's like, it creeps up on you. So yeah, that's what I think.
Love that. Shout out to all the Aunt Deborahs out there. Because you're right, we all have one. Yes, I was thinking, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's my aunt. I won't say the name, but
I brought my mom. I brought my mother to this show, and when Bonnie is walking with the mailbox, my mother screamed out, "Oh my God, she has the mailbox!" I said, "Can you zip it, Donnie?"
It's so good.
She was so hyped about the mailbox.
It's so good.
Nina didn't answer that question yet, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Nina. Yeah, your turn,
No.
Nina.
Oh my gosh, don't
Y'all
say
are
sorry.
so funny. Y'all
I
are making me die laughing.
I agree with everything that's already been said. Yeah, I mean, I like sometimes wonder if I'm biased because like Kimberly Akimbo is exactly like my taste in a musical. Like this is what I want from a musical. I want a musical that's like a play. You know what I mean? Which Kimberly Akimbo very much is. And I agree with Fernell. Like I feel like a big reason why people are able to connect with it so deeply and so many different people is just because it's an incredibly well crafted musical. Yeah, in the room, David and Janine were always concerned with like how everything was contributing to the story first. And anytime they were like, well, I guess we don't really need it, like it would be cut or it would be changed. They had so little like ego about them working in the room, which was so amazing. And I just, yeah, it's a show about like real people, even though they're a little kooky, they're a little maybe extra kooky. I don't know. Like we know Aunt Deborah's, we know those parents, we know Seth Wheatus, and so I think it feels kind of like emotionally accessible in that way.
Mhm.
I don't think it feels like, I don't know. I never felt like I'm watching a story about people like, I don't know. I feel like you could know them. And so I think, you know, it's easier for people to see themselves reflected back. And
in conclusion, everyone go see Kimberly Akimbo
yeah,
now.
it's a good one. You'll cry. I was crying in rehearsal always. Oh my God. Every time on the
Every time.
I was unwell.
Yeah.
I think when you take like a universal experience like high school and just kind of capitalize on absolutely everything that could go right or wrong, you're bound to get like an unwavering and an unending line of people that are like, me too. You know what I mean? So
Totally.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes Kimmy special.
It really does. Well, you guys are amazing. Thank you for sharing everything today, from survival job stories to about everything about Kimmy. But so we always like to end the episode with a really fun game, which now I'm nervous about this game, but we're going to see how it's going to go. Before we jump into the game, in like 1 or 2 words, we have a ton of listeners. If you could give a quick little advice to people listening who might feel stuck in their survival jobs, who are craving a career in the arts, what is your advice? A quick advice, because we're got to get to the game. Olivia.
Your survival job is not forever. It's called survival for a reason. It's just so you can get back on your feet. There are plenty of survival jobs that you can try your hand in that may give you a better sense of satisfaction. There's always money in childcare. There's always good, consistent money in childcare. Keep that in mind. And children are fun. They can be really fun. So that's my advice.
Michael.
I would say let go and be confident.
Boom. Nina.
Laugh with your friends about what happens at work.
Perfect. And for now,
I would say go after it because you love it.
boom. Excellent advice. Thank you guys. This was so fun. Like I said, I don't know if I said it while we were recording, probably before, during, after. We were so hyped about this episode for so long. So thank you. We're so happy that it happened. Like I said, we always end the episode with a quick little game, sometimes trivia, sometimes not. So this game we created is called Victoria Clark Trivia. Since you all are in the show with Victoria Clark, we should have done Shrek trivia, after this interview, but who knew? So this is going to be hard because we've never played a game with 4 contestants.
Sure.
So I think Jason, whoever's not reading the question, see who raises their hand first.
Okay.
Okay, are you guys ready?
Yes.
There's a huge prize, so don't be nervous. There's no prize. There's really no prize. Okay. All right. I'll take the first one. Jay, you watch for the hand. This is multiple choice.
Okay.
Of Victoria Clark trivia. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. What university did Victoria Clark attend for undergrad? A, NYU, B, Hart School, C, Yale, or D, Syracuse? Nina's hand was first.
Nina was first.
The
Yeah.
answer is C, Yale.
Correct!
Oh, I thought that was for her graduate. I didn't know it was for undergrad.
NYU for graduate.
NYU's grad.
Ah, okay. I thought it was the other way around.
Trust me, I've been reading a lot of articles today.
Yes, research.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. I have question number 2. What show did Victoria Clark win a Tony Award for Best Leading Actress in a Musical, a Drama Desk Award?
Olivia was first.
What? A drama desk award? Kimmy. Am I wrong? Yeah, no, I'm right. Kimmy.
Well, that could be right, but that's not the answer.
Wait, what was the full question?
Yeah, read the whole question.
Okay.
And then Fernell can answer then Olivia can get one more try, then Fernell is second.
Okay, what show did Victoria Clark win a Tony Award for Best Leading Actress in a Musical, a Drama Desk Award, an Outer Critics Circle Award, and the Joseph Jefferson Award? So 4. It's not multiple choice, sorry.
Fernell was number 2, if Olivia doesn't have it.
Light in the Piazza.
Correct.
Yes.
What role for now? What role?
Mother.
Mother.
Margaret.
Mother
Margaret is
Superior. That is not the question, Nina.
the role.
It is not the question, but you can get a half a point.
It was the Outer Critics Circle that got me. I was like, oh wait.
I'm sorry, I was just a no-one for now.
in Outer Critics Circle.
By the way, that was my fault for calling out a contestant before Jason finished, so my bad.
All good.
So we're tied with Fernell and Nina, but actually Nina has a half a point for giving the character name, so Nina is in the lead. Number 3. How many Broadway shows has Victoria Clark been in? A, 17, B, 13, C, 9, or D, 7?
Wow. I think that's for Nell again.
Is it 9?
No.
Damn.
Michael.
17.
Incorrect. Nina.
13.
Correct. I had them all listed, and I was going to read them, and then I lost the tab, so.
Wait, she had 13 what?
Broadway shows.
Oh my god.
She's been on Broadway.
No, I just was about to say another fun fact about her, but it's
Yeah.
I'm obsessed
Tell
with
us.
her.
Tell us
Did
the
you
fun
know
fact.
that Sunday in the Park with George was her first, which was her first Broadway show, was also her first audition.
I did
Wait,
not know
what?
that.
Wow.
Yes. She was
And
like
in her dressing room, me and Nina's dressing room was her old dressing room.
At the booth.
At the
Which is
booth.
my favorite Broadway theater, by the way. In case anyone wants to know about me. In case there's a trivia game about me one day. You can put that
I'm
question.
taking note. I'm taking note. Thank you.
Yeah.
The booth is fun. She's cute.
Okay.
All
What
right.
do we have? Number 4 and then a bonus.
4. And the bonuses are 5, so it's anybody's game.
Mm.
Okay. So, question 4, this is multiple choice. Where did Victoria Clark grow up? A. Michael?
Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
Hey.
There
Wow.
we go.
2 points for
aboard.
that. We're not even needing the multiple choice.
There we go.
Yes.
Such a girl.
Okay, here's the bonus. It's anyone's game. In a recent interview with Playbill, Victoria was asked what is her greatest achievement as an actor. What was her answer?
What are the multiple choice answers?
This is not a multiple choice.
I'm gonna say her son.
Is it
Fernell's hand is up.
Kimberly Akimbo?
Correct.
Yeah.
Kimberly Lavaco is the person I want to live inside these days. Of the dozens of roles I've played, I'm learning the most from her. She is full of humor, heart, discovery, and joy.
That's sweet.
Thank
So
you.
used to that.
Thank you.
Congratulations for now. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank
What
you.
is that? Oh.
That's my
Why
trophy.
why did I think that was like a maple syrup?
High
thing?
heel? Oh, I thought you said high heel.
Thank you.
That's a shoe stretcher.
Why
What
did
is
it was
that?
like a maple syrup
It's a PlayStation
dispenser? I don't even know how.
What was that?
Congratulations
It's
for
a,
now.
it's a PlayStation controller. It's my trophy.
It's the way you held it up that made it
Yeah.
look weird. We were like, what is that?
Well, everybody wins the prize of whenever Jason and I decide to start season 3 of this show, you can book a VIP invite to the party.
Okay,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Congratulations.
Wait, what are your guys' favorite survival jobs?
Yes.
Oh God, we'll be here for hours. We're like in survival jobs still, you know?
Yeah,
feel that.
still, but,
Heard.
but fun fact is that Samantha and I have worked many survival jobs together over the years. She's
Aw.
gotten me almost
Aw.
every survival job in New York City I've had was because of Samantha.
This is
Aw.
true. This is
That's
why
awesome.
we created the show in the pandemic out of pure like boredom. I was like, this will be fun for us to do together since we've done every job. We've worked in restaurants, coat check. What else? Events.
Random events, yeah. Event planning.
We've been running
film
through the
fest?
city. Oh, yeah, the
Yeah.
film fest.
Ooh,
tell you on there.
okay.
Um,
Fun.
Yeah, we're cool. We're cool people. Despite me like being drunk at all the Kimberly Akimbo events, coming up to all of you saying, "Come on our show." We're cool. Before we wrap up, can you guys please tell our listeners how they can follow you on social media? What are your handles? How to keep up with all the fun things that you do? Nina, can you start?
Yes. This is Nina. My Instagram is at I am Nina White. Thank you.
Lit.
Yeah.
Michael.
My Instagram is at Mykoola, MICKOOLA. It's it's a. You don't have to follow it.
Follow it. Keep up with Michael. Olivia.
After Mike,
My
come on.
Instagram is at OOH_Livia LIVIA 9. If you want to follow me on Twitter, that hellscape. My Twitter handle is Hardy, like my last name, HARDY_soup, like a hearty soup 99.
I love that.
Nice. Any relation to Tom?
No, but I used to say it was in middle school because that was like everybody wore those shirts, and I'd be like, it's my uncle.
For now.
You can follow me at Fernell Hogan.
Lit.
Easy.
Mic drop. I just did these hands. Didn't you guys do these hands in the show choir?
Oh, we used to the waterfall hands.
Yeah, we keep a jazz. We still have a jazz hand in there.
Thank you. And if you're tuning in because you're huge fans of these four and Kimberly Akimbo and you don't follow us yet, follow us at Survival Jobs Pod on Instagram and Twitter, Survival Jobs a Podcast on Facebook. Shoot us an email. Let us know your thoughts. survivaljobspod@gmail.com. Follow my boy Jason at Jason A. Coombs. Follow me at Sammy Toots and follow Olivia's dog.
This is Tulip. Say hi.
Hi, Tulip.
Tulip.
She's so cute.
Thank you guys so much. This was so much fun.
Thank you for having
This was
us.
awesome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for
Yes.
chatting with us. This was fun. I was like, how is this going to go with four? And I think it went perfectly.
This
Yeah.
is fun.
Thank you all so much, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yay.